What's up everybody? I hope that you are all doing well and staying safe, hopefully playing a lot of guitar and having fun. Today I wanted to talk about an acoustic guitar, and specifically I wanted to talk about a porch picker, which is exactly what it sounds like, a guitar that you can just take outside on your porch and relax and have fun picking away at it. Now when I hear the term porch picker, my mind immediately pictures Andy Griffith, specifically him as Andy Taylor sitting on the front porch in his home in Mayberry, North Carolina, playing his 1956 Martin D18. Without fail, that is what comes to mind every time for me. And I own a D18 that I'll eventually make a video on, and that's a wonderful guitar. The hype around D18s is absolutely very real. But Dreadnoughts are big guitars, they're bulky, they can sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable to play, especially if you're trying to just lean back on your porch and relax. So why is it that just about every guitar player at some point in their lives owns a Dreadnought? Well, Dreadnoughts are known for their loud and powerful sound, but they also have a very balanced tone. And because of that larger body, they are able to project, they're able to be loud. And so if you're playing live, for example, and you need to cut through that mix and be heard over the other instruments, a Dreadnought is perfect. But today I wanted to focus on a smaller guitar. This is a Gibson L-00. And this specific model is an L-00 12 fret Rosewood. So as you can see, this has Rosewood back and sides. Most Gibson acoustics would have mahogany. And also, it being a 12 fret, the neck meets the body at the 12th fret, as implied, instead of the 14th fret like what you typically see on an acoustic. Now, that can make reaching the upper frets a little bit more difficult, obviously, but one thing that I really love about this guitar is it is not a short scale guitar. It looks like one, but Gibson actually moves the bridge farther down and they change the placement of the sound hole. So this is still nut to bridge a 24 3/4 inch scale length, which is awesome. And as you can see, this is obviously a smaller, most people would say more comfortable guitar than something like a Dreadnought. This is a guitar that I can just take on my front porch and comfortably lean back with it, relax, and pick away. It's not going to be as loud, it's not going to cut through as much as a Dreadnought, and you're also losing that bass response. So this is a more mid-focused guitar, but it sounds wonderful. I'm certainly not implying that this sounds worse than a Dreadnought. It's just different, and for most people, when they want an acoustic sound, a Dreadnought is what they have in mind, and so that's what most people gravitate towards. But if you want something small and comfortable, I would definitely recommend that you look into the L-00. Now, Gibson, of course, is not the only manufacturer that's producing O guitars. There are many, many brands that have O's, double O's, triple O's, and even smaller guitars than that. But I think that this is a really good example of a double O. This is a guitar that has been around for a very long time, not in this specific iteration, but the Gibson L-00 was first released in 1932, and it was designed to be a simpler version of the Gibson LO guitar that they had at the time. And at the time, one big difference was that the L-00 had an unbound back, but starting in 1937, the backs of the L-00s were bound as well. As much as I love them, Dreadnoughts are big and bulky. They're still my favorite acoustic, and they're obviously immensely popular for a reason, but comfort-wise, especially if you're of a smaller build like myself, when you compare something like this to a Dreadnought, it's not even close. The L-00 is much more comfortable to sit down, relax, and play guitar. And especially in a recording context, the volume that you're losing playing something like this, it's not going to matter as much, right? Because in post, that level can be adjusted and you can play around with it then. But in a live setting, especially if you play with a larger band, it generally would make more sense to go with something like a Dreadnought or a jumbo guitar. I love L-00s because I can sit down and pick quietly at them, which of course you can do with a Dreadnought. But a Dreadnought, when you really start digging into it, it gets pretty loud. A guitar like this, while it still gets loud, it's nowhere near the level of something like a Dreadnought. And while this guitar was certainly designed with blues and finger-picking guitar players in mind, you can easily use this in most genres. The Dreadnought will always be the king of acoustic guitars, it'll always be the most iconic and the most popular, and if that does ever change, it'll be long after I've left this earth. But O guitars are so special to me. There's just something about them, and I'm not sure if it's just that they're smaller or exactly what it is, but it just feels more intimate to play them, like there's more of a connection between the player and the guitar. At least that's the case for me. So yeah, I was playing this guitar, and I just wanted to sit down and get some of these thoughts out while they were fresh on my mind. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more guitar content. Stuff like that really helps me out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!